Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram. And you are now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Drink responsibly. King. That is the legendary DMac_LA. Doug McCain, if you're nasty. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram. He is on a poster on your grandma's wall in the den. Doug, Thursday, we're getting that much closer to the trade deadline. It's an exciting time in every baby D-Mac's life.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. No, look, there's watching Dodger baseball, but there's nothing better than talking Dodger baseball. Mr. Clint is in Dodgers Nation out there. Exciting time of the year. The Dodgers take 2 of 3 from the Orioles, a team that was riding an 8-game win streak. I want some more sweeps, but hey, I'm happy Dodgers in first place.
We like first place. It's a good place to be. Don't look behind you right now, though, because the Giants are doing some things. Just saying. But guys, jump in the chat. There's no DJ producer Cody today, but we got a double tandem behind the board today, and you guys will be hearing from the wonderful, the delicious Noah Cameras when he wants to chime in. So he'll be keeping an eye out for super chats and all that kind of stuff. On today's show, are we losing trust in Julio Urias? We talked about this on Monday, and he gave us a reason to talk about it again. And that'll be part of our greater 3 up, 3 down. Shout out, rest in peace, Eric Julio. Trade deadline rumors. That's why you're all here. That's why we're all excited. I hope this thing is titled right, and the Dodgers are going to be playing the Texas Rangers at the home that Corey Seager built. And we got to talk about Corey. Is he the one that got away? Before we get into the show, we're going to remind you we are a podcast. Go find us on all your podcast platforms if you want to just hear us in your ear holes. And this is a live stream. Again, jump into the comments. But most importantly, the best thing you can do is really mash that thumbs up button. It helps us out, boosts us in those algo rhythms. And if you want to... We already had one? Oh. See what happens. You just got to see what happens. So somebody's going to have to drop a super chat. Just, you know what? Let me do it. I'm going to give us $1 right now. It's like, everybody calm down. Whatever I was saying. Oh, yeah. Mash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. It really helps out the channel more than you know. And Doug, his happiness is directly tied to the amount of subscribers we have
100%
on the site. Our boss man, his happiness is directly tied to the amount of times that you guys download the Dodgers Nation app. So go check it out. It is on your app store, Dodgers Nation app. Go search Dodgers and Nation or just Dodgers baseball. It'll probably come up in the Apple iStore, whatever they call it, in the Android store. It's cool. You got your schedule there. They got all Doug's YouTube videos, which is a good time to have all the videos while while the trade deadline is upon us, plus all of our content over at DodgersNation.com. All right, enough of all that. Let's get into the nitty gritty of it all. 3 up, 3 down, like you said, Doug. We took 2 of 3 against a streaking Baltimore Orioles team, a second place team in the AL East. What are some things you liked out of that?
Well, the first, we might as well start with James Outman. I think James Outman is a guy that his success right now, it's going to help determine what the Dodgers do at the deadline. We know they might be in the they might shop for an outfield. They might need an outfielder. And hey, one thing I love about him is he goes deep. He gets that home run. It was actually the first time in Baltimore, over the Waltimore, 414 feet, his 12th home run of the year. He was the first left-hander to hit one out. Man, he was fantastic. In July, he's been fantastic as well. He's hitting .310, a 166 weighted runs created plus. It's the 3rd highest on the team behind Mookie and Freddie Freeman. The strikeout rate, not terrible. It's not above 30%. The walk rate at 14%. So June, he was struggling. Outman is back, and he looks like he's really solidifying himself in this outfield picture past the deadline. So I think it's definitely very important.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to help the team. It's got to help the front office in their tough decision of what to do at this upcoming trade deadline. I mean, now you also already have Jake Marisnick. He's out of the equation with a hamstring. You don't know how long he's going to be out, but it sounds like it could be a good bit of time. So there is a need for a 4th outfielder, but to have that 3-man left-handed swinging outfield really locking itself in for justice at the right time. Mookie's taken over at second base and is absolutely running with it. I mean, you put all the pieces together. James Outman's having a hell of a season. You know, any big leaguer, we've seen plenty of big leaguers struggle for 2 months at a time. It's worse when it's a rookie. It's more magnified when it's a rookie. But Dave Roberts rewarded for his patience with the older-ish rookie and James Outman, and it's looking like a good thing. You just need to keep riding it. There's still 2 more months. plus playoffs.
Yeah, no, you said it best. I mean, the fact that you look at the Dodgers lineup, especially against right-handed pitching, to have those three left-handers out there in the outfield, and Peralta, Hayward, and James Outman, it's going to be huge. And I think also you hear the whispers about Cody Bellinger. Should they go out there and trade for Cody Bellinger? Well, James Outman playing above-average defense. The offense is coming along. He's hitting for more power. He's more selective at the plate. So I think they're good in center field right now. I really, truly do. So, yeah, definitely feeling great about that. That's definitely something to feel good about, especially with Miguel Vargas plummeting and then really starting to hit down to AAA level. At least some of these rookies are hitting, and that was kind of the talk heading into the season. Outman appears to be a guy that's gotten over his first big league slump, and he's really settling in out in center field.
We know the fans love talking Outman, and I'm assuming, Noah, the conversation is already going pretty decently online. What's going on? What are folks saying about Jimmy Outman?
Yeah, we got a lot of James out. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah. Hey, Spencer, can you slide up that slider for him a little bit?
Higher for me. Yeah. You guys can hear me that good?
Yeah, just do it like Doug. Just jam
I'll
that
just
mic.
really eat that mic.
That's
mic.
the Doug Kane special.
So we got a lot of stuff from James Outman. I just had him, and I was trying to eat my mic, so I lost him. But we got someone that said, agreed, nice call on Outman. We stand J.O. around these parts. Obviously, James Outman.
J.O.
Got another one over here. Where was it? This is from Mike Wargo on Facebook. He said Outman is a future star, D-Mac. So, people are high on him. And then we got something special. We got a super chat. Cue the music.
Center and hit that button. You got to go center cam. Oh,
there it is.
It's a special
day. So this one is from JDog199. Now, I'm going to put the question out now. If you guys want to save it for some Julio talk, you can. But I just want to put it out there because we respect those super chats when they come.
Yes,
so J-Dog says, can Dodgers get a team-friendly deal on Urias? Obviously, he's been struggling. So, again, maybe we'll save that for Urias talk. But if a super chat comes, I'm reading it. So.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. It's definitely something we are going to address.
Yeah.
It is possible. I don't think it's likely, but it's definitely worth talking about.
So we'll get there later.
We will
get there. Appreciate the super chat. J-Dog, the legend. How are we doing? Do you want to do all of our ups and all of our downs in an order? Because I really want to talk about one more up. I am happy.
Whatever floats your boat, baby.
I am thrilled. It is an absolute one of three ups for the Dodgers that we are seeing some real, honest progression from Walker Buehler. He said he's getting 94 off the bump right now. His target is September 1st. He feels it's an absolute reality. Dave Roberts has gotten on board with the idea of buying into Walker's reality of September 1st, but it looks like this is a dude that is going to help this club at some point this year, and that's exciting to me because anytime you want Walker Buehler, it's in October. We've learned that now for going on 6 years or whatever the hell it is. Time has no meaning, but Walker Buehler is the guy you want on the bump when the real games matter.
Yeah, and I trust Walker Buehler. It's not like it's a rookie that they're waiting to come back. It's not like it's one of these other guys like a Tony Gonsolin or Dustin May that's never had sustained success in the postseason. Walker Buehler has been one of the best pitchers in the postseason in the last 5 to 10 years. We're talking about a sub-3 ERA. You saw what he was able to do in 2020. So I did in 2018, Game 3, as a young guy coming out there. Sandy Koufax giving him an ovation as he's heading off into the dugout. So the other thing, too, is I trust Walker Buehler. This is not a situation where it's in the doctor's hands. If he thinks he's right, if he's hitting 97, 98, 99 on the gun, he's going to be back out there on the mound. They aren't going to save him until spring training of next season. So I do think I'm cautiously optimistic. I still believe they need to go out there and get a starting pitcher, one, possibly two if another name becomes available, just in case they have another injury. But I think, all the vibes are trending in the right direction for Walker Buehler. I'll say right now, I would give it about 80% that he's going to be back for the postseason. That's just my gut instinct. In my heart of hearts, deep inside my bones, Buehler's going to be an impact guy. The butane is going to be back for L.A.
Put it on paper. That is what we want. We want Walker Buehler locking it in for justice.
The Buell Dog, as you call him.
Yes, Buell Dog. It's butane is Buell Dog. And also, congratulations. They're going to have a babby. Him and his woman, whose name escapes me. Mackenzie. She's a lovely lady. We met her before. But congratulations. They are expecting, as they would say on television, in the 50s. Doug, what's
They'll probably wear the baby's pants at some point on the mound. I'm assuming.
I got tight pants on. Doug,
tight pants. Buehler, what's up?
Doug, give me one more thing you like.
Another thing I liked, and you know I defend this guy to the death, and it's Maximum Muncy. It's been bad Muncy, it's been mid Muncy, but Max Muncy gets a much-needed home run. He'd been gulling a 1 for 20 slump, and then he gets that home run, and I think that's where he takes off, and he goes on a nice little streak here. His 22nd homer of the year, hits that 2-run shot in the 5th inning, absolutely obliterated. He needed it in a big way, and I see people out there, oh, let's replace Max Muncy. This is a guy who he's probably going to hit 30 home runs or more, right? So he's a guy you had to be patient with. I think ideally you get someone else at third base. You have him play at second base, but it's definitely a positive sign to have him trending in the right direction because we know that Dave Roberts and this organization, when he's right, they like to bat him clean up. They like to bat him in the top of that Dodgers lineup. So to see him get right, that definitely is very, very big.
Is it getting right? It's only one homer. It's on the right path. It's in the right on the right path. It's in the right direction. But same like we talked about on Monday, you were all in. You said Julio Urias is all the way back. I said I need to see 1 or 2 more starts, and what we saw is you need a little bit more recency or whatever. It's like, what have you done for me lately? But also for kind of more than just one game. Like I said, it went off. It went on our Instagram, my whole Nolan Arenado thing from Monday, and I still fully agree. And like you just said, get yourself a third baseman, move Max. Like Max is still a part of the equation for sure. I'm not saying trade him, DFA, cut or whatever. Like Max Muncy is part of needs to be part of this Dodgers. He is a massive part of this team, but. If you're able to improve at third, slide Max over to second, and hey, Mookie Betts, come on down. You can play some shortstop, which is what you were drafted to do. That's a really fun and powerful young middle infield.
He can't be worse than Trey Turner in the postseason. I'll tell you that much.
This is facts.
Give me Mookie Betts at shortstop over Trey Turner.
Who did I mention?
With
Freddie
a capital
Freeman.
E. So, yeah, no, exactly. No, and I think when it comes to Max Muncy, I want to kind of respond to your point there. I always say, like, it takes more than one game to get into a slump. It takes more than one game to get out of a slump. But if you look at his numbers across the board, I mean, 88 percentile on expected slug. He's a lead in hard hit percentage, but his expected batting average is in the 16th percentage. So this guy's had terrible luck. Cody Bellinger has been top 5 luckiest player in baseball. When you look at his expected stats, where his numbers are, Max Muncy has been one of the unluckiest players. So hopefully
he really is.
He gets some regression to the mean. He goes on a tear. And yeah, I think he's a guy that really builds on a confident moment, a big moment. And hopefully he gets things turned around.
No, we got anything exciting going on? Yeah. We had a couple of topics here.
Yeah, we have some good comments from a few different topics, like you said. First of all, Nicholas Ramos said Buehler out of the pen would be generational. I mean, yeah, imagine Buehler coming in like Mariano Rivera style.
That was
Game 7 of the World Series.
That was my prediction.
I almost feel like that might be our Hornito shot.
I think there might be, Nicholas.
Hornitos. Wait, what should they do with this, Doug? Should they drink responsibly?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes, sir. But that is our Hornito shot taker of the day. Let's go. Man, that would be fun. Wait, hold on. If we're doing that, I said fun. I did not say the F word.
Yeah, he said fun. I heard fun.
Because he comes out to a Rage Against the Machine song, I believe.
Does.
Like, would it be okay if Buehler, if he was for some reason closing, if he came out to enter Sandman?
I mean, that'd be cool. I think that'd be really fun for everyone.
And he wears 42. Why not?
So yeah, that was a great comment. We got some about Max Muncy. Someone said enough with Max Muncy and Chris Taylor. Let's move on from these guys. So someone's a little fed up. That was Francisco Avila, a little fed up with the veterans.
These are two dudes who had pretty damn good series.
Yeah,
Baltimore.
I know they've been better as of
Chris
late.
Taylor, second Grand Slam of these seasons.
Yep.
You know who had a bad series in Baltimore?
Fastball.
The grounds crew.
That was one of my downs.
Oh, I spoiled it.
Yeah, I mean, what was up with that? I'm ready to watch Dodger baseball.
Let's let the man finish his riff, and then
I'll get
really
a few more
hear.
quick ones. We got MB said Muncy can go for Arenado. So, I mean, now I personally am with you, Clint. I don't think Muncy goes. I just think he moves from third base, maybe back to second base. And I'll get you one more here. I saw one good one up here. I think I already lost it. Well, I already lost it.
The comments going too fast.
You guys just going crazy. But yeah, some pro Muncy people are excited, and some more pro Walker Buehler. People think he's going to be back.
Man, Buehler's going to be. That's just fun to think of, man. I love watching that kid on the bump. It is fun to watch Walker on bump day. Doug, we already spoiled it a little bit. One down, grounds crew. What's going on, Baltimore?
What is going on? I mean, you looked at that game. It was sunny. It was shining. I mean, it was a perfect day for baseball, but hey, they fell asleep. They took a big L. I don't know if they watched the scene from Bull Durham where they just took all the sprinklers on and sprayed all over the field or something like that. But yeah, look at that grounds crew. Did it impact Julio Urias' start? That's what I'm wondering. He's a guy that's a creature of routine. You know, his road and home splits have been really bad this season. But yeah, get it together, Orioles ground crew. I was ready to watch that game at 10:05, and hey, you sent it back about 41 minutes, okay? I was not feeling that.
Don't upset the king of Los Angeles, Doug McCain.
Come on now. Was it 41 minutes, the team's ground crew? I mean, it's just, and watching them tend to that rain-soaked field.
Get off my lawn. It's wet, Doug McCain.
Yes.
All right, exactly. Another down. I defended him. I don't even know if I defended him. I spoke in the mind of like Dodgers reality about Austin Barnes on Monday. This is a guy they love. This is a guy they're not going to take off the roster, off the active roster in any way unless he is injured. But continues to be a liability in the games in which he starts.
Exactly. And look, you are on the money of that. Hit that one on the nail. I mean, he is a liability at the plate. He does go 1 for 4, got that base hit off of Felix Bautista, who's one of the best relievers in the sport. I felt really bad for the guy because when he flied out there in the 5th inning, that would have been a home run. It was actually flied to left in the 5th inning. That would have been a home run in 29 of 30 parks out there. So he would have got a home run, but still, he has been the worst hitter in baseball as far as how many opportunities he's gotten. He has struggled. He continues to struggle. He raised his batting average to 108. When you say you raised your batting average to 108, that's how you know there's a problem. Has a -5 weighted runs created plus. I looked it up. It says Clint Pasillas has a 0 weighted runs created plus. So technically, your offensive production has been better than Austin Barnes this season, Clint, because, hey, 11 hits for Austin Barnes. And look, the thing that concerns me is, why is he on the field, right? Because he helps pitchers out. He knows how to call a great game. Did he help Julio Urias out? I mean, framing has actually gone down if you look at some of the metrics. So I do think that, yeah, it is overblown. He is a guy that plays maybe once, maybe twice a week max. But still, you don't want to be overly concerned about a guy that is your backup catcher. But I will say, you better hope that Will Smith stays healthy. Because if he gets injured, if he gets hurt, what do they do? So it's definitely a big problem. I think that, not a big problem, but it's definitely a concern. I think, what is Hunter Fiducia, a guy who's raked, the guy who's done everything? Yeah, why has he gotten an opportunity? You
know, that is one of the more, I wouldn't say frustrating or annoying things, but Dave, give credit to Dave Roberts. He's usually pretty good about the idea of, hey, you're going to get a job based on the meritocracy. But there are guys he will stick with through thick and thin and thicker. Now, we're not talking like 3 or 5 C's here. We're talking about a hard K at the end, thick, through the thick and thins. And I guess in this case, we're really focusing on the thin with the production out of Austin Barnes, while somebody like Hunter Fiducia, yeah, he's an older prospect, not really a prospect, but he's an older, really should be a 4A guy. He's just not going to get an opportunity here in LA, and that's got to be tough. And it's got to be tough for the guys down in the minor leagues. You got Diego Cartaya, friend of the show. You don't know what's going to happen with him. You got another guy that you're hoping to get some time with real soon with the future the kid. I can't remember his name. I tried to buy myself Dalton Rushing. Yeah, it's a very basic name, man. Sorry.
Is he the new Michael Grove for you?
As far as names, that's the new Michael Grove. How long? I took the whole offseason forgetting Michael Grove's name. I remembered the face. I remember the kid.
Now he's got that cutter, so you can remember it now.
But
one thing I want to ask you, though.
Man. That's tough for Hunter.
But what are your thoughts? I mean, as far as, do you think it's too late in the year to say, okay, there's so many concerns. Of course, you have to address starting pitching. You need another bat. You need a reliever to go out there and maybe get a backup catcher. Those guys are available. It's kind of late. You kind of disrupt the chemistry. I understand that. But, hey, he's a -1.5 WAR. If the Dodgers lose the division by 1 game, I'm looking at you, Austin Barnes. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I care. They're going to still be in the playoffs. I care less about that division.
Playoffs?
But playoffs, it's still we've seen. That's the thing. We've seen this team do it. We already talked about it. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but we've talked about it in the past. This team has done it. They traded A.J. Ellis away, and they brought in Ruiz, and
at the time,
it ultimately helped.
And Ellis had a 47 OPS plus. Yeah. He wasn't this bad. Austin Barnes would kill for a 47 OPS plus.
And this is also a team that let Justin Turner walk in the offseason. So really, nothing is off the table.
You must have pictures.
Really?
Really? Does he have pictures with Dave Roberts golfing with the devil or something? I mean, I can't understand it.
Man, I really want to know what he would say if we weren't on camera. But speaking of camera, here's no cameras. What do you got for me in the chat there, Chief?
Yeah, so we just got some Austin Barnes. Orlando said Barnes needs to retire and just be a coach advisor. I mean, maybe he'd help the team out a little more.
But that's a good point.
Way.
Look, I mean, if you were on the IL, there's nothing that he can't do from the IL that he can't do at when he's like what. Yeah, I mean,
he can't strike out or pop up to.
Speaking of IL, we got Austin Cinder Barnes from Playmere Trade. So yeah, speaking of that phantom IL, we got one right there. And then Sonny here said Barnes equals Kershaw tax, which is what you're talking. But then also Brandon Drum said Barnes the same reason A.J. Ellis was on the team too long. Kershaw.
And what did Earl Weaver say? The leader of the team is the guy who hits the 3-run home run, right? That is the leader of the team. So if you want to be a leader, if you want to have your voice heard, I mean, I think that carries more weight when you're producing out there.
Yeah, for sure. And we've had that. I think we've heard Justin Turner talk about in the past where he wasn't having the best starts of his season at times, and he's like, I don't really feel like I should say anything right now. I got to figure out my own ish before we do anything. But finally, all right, it's Julio time. It's time to talk Julio. He had rattled off 2 decent starts after coming off the IL. He had the bad one, kind of got dinked and doinked to death. Had 2 decent ones, one really good one, and then an absolute shit show in Baltimore. The trust, not ideal. It's not a very high point for Julio. What does this do for his future? And then we still got to address the super chat out of it at some point. But go ahead.
Yeah, lots to unpack here with Julio Urias. The first thing that really comes to mind is he was just wildly ineffective. I mean, the command was off. He wasn't hitting his spots at all. Didn't have any bite to his breaking stuff. And his stuff isn't good enough to get away with mistakes. And that's what we've learned from Julio this season. But I will remind folks out there that he's coming off one of his best outings of the year. I mean, in New York, he goes 6 innings, allows just that 1 hit to Nimmo. So it's not like he's put together some terrible starts. But if you look at his numbers as a whole, that ERA is north of 5. A 5.02 ERA for pitchers with a minimum of 70 innings pitched. That's 89 out of 103 pitchers. That's up from the National League leading 2.16 last year. The FIP at 477. Opponents are hitting 241. Up from 198 last year. The home road splits, they're glaring. So, yeah, his numbers across the board, they've really struggled. And I think it's just a big step back because we saw the comments after the Mets series where you're talking about the vacation's over and he's really going to turn things on. And he just did not look right out there. I don't know if it was the humidity. I don't know if it was the weather. I don't know if it was the delay,
start,
the heat and humidity. I mean, we saw it kind of reminded me of the first inning when he returned against the Kansas City Royals, and he looked hot and he looked a little gassed, like he was laboring out there. So, look, I mean, you're a pitcher. You don't need perfect conditions to go out there and deal, but yeah, it definitely is a concern. I think big picture, 30,000 feet from above, it's, hey, the Dodgers have a serious need at starting pitcher. But, what was your read on the situation with Julio?
In all honesty, 10 o'clock game, delayed. It's my day off. I didn't give one rat's crap about it. How you get fired on a day off? But when you're looking at the greater picture of this team, the Julio thing is now becoming a pretty big concern because you entered the season, this is your opening day starter, and he has not rattled off an actual legitimate streak. I don't even know how many quality starts he has this year, but it's not enough, and you do have to wonder. And he said no. He's essentially, in so many words, via a translator, said no. Juan Dorado. That the contract isn't a part of the problem. Thinking about free agency isn't a part of the problem. But you have to wonder at this point, it might have very much this deep into the season crept into his head. Hey, I'm pitching for my next big contract. This was supposed to be my year. This is supposed to be my $250 million 8-year deal in the offseason. Dude might have to settle for a qualifying offer, some sort of pillow contract back with the team and get right. And that's not what Scott Boras wants. It's not what the Dodgers and Dodger fans want right now because they need this guy if you want to go anywhere in the postseason. But it's just a bad time to have a bad day and have a bad season.
And it's the worst possible time. But like you said, the good thing about it, if you look at some of his options, and I just want to go back and point out that literally was the worst start of his career. I mean, 8 runs allowed.
Witnessed history.
We witnessed, the wrong side of history there. And I think the big takeaway from his start specifically, only 5 swings and misses were generated. And that's just not going to get it done. The first swing and miss came in the 5th inning there. 29 pitches there in the first inning, 24 in the 3rd inning. I mean, he just did not look good. In the 5th inning was solid, faced only 4 batters, but it was missing his spot all day, I should say. But, yeah, I think when you look at his contract moving forward, there's a couple different ways you can look at this, especially if you're a Dodgers fan. Is one, if he finishes the season and he has an ERA north of 5, maybe you do consider accepting that qualifying offer. Maybe you do consider signing hey, bet on yourself type deal and trying to get that stock back up. Because let me remind you.
Belly deal.
The belly deal. Yeah, I was just going to say that Cody Bellinger, look what he was able to do in one season. Julio Urias, though, he's younger. He's a pitcher. I still think that he doesn't turn 27 till August 12th, so there is plenty of time for him to get back on track. But what I've been saying for years now,
if you want the
dub, you got to shove. But I also said if you want to be the man, you have to have the command, and the command isn't there for Julio Urias. And also, too, he's not a guy that throws gas. He's not a guy where the advanced analytics love him. I mean, if you look at his FIP to his ERA, you've always seen that disparity. The miles per hour on the velo, that's not where he's at. But what he does do at an elite level, misses barrels, induces soft contact. And as long as he's hitting his spots and he has the feel for that slurve, he's going to go out there and be effective. But I do think if you're Scott Boras, you are quaking in your boots right now, and I think you are reevaluating the situation. But here's something else that's possible. If you're the Dodgers, what do billionaires do during a recession? They're the ones that always have money. That's when they buy up all the properties, right? They're sitting there saying, hey, Julio, how about a little extension? Maybe 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, $130, $140 million to see if he bites at it. Hey, maybe give him a couple bites at the apple next season. He comes back and takes a one-year deal. But I do think if you're the Dodgers, at the very least, you should explore if you can get some value out of Julio Urias on an extension.
I mean, that could be one of those things that sort of sets his mind at ease, and maybe that locks him back in. But we also know Satan himself, Scott Boras, your good friend.
What's up, Scott?
Good. They hang out every winter meeting since last year. He don't do that. He's not into that. And yeah, I mean, if we're just talking for the sake of talking, I like the idea, but it's also tough to be like, hey, this guy's having his worst year. Let's give him some money.
Yeah, no, I think the plan has always been we're going to get an 8, 9, 10-year deal. But you've seen in Major League Baseball, that hasn't been the case, especially for starting pitchers. I mean, look what Robbie Ray got coming off that Cy Young. He gets a 5-year, $115 million deal. Look at Carlos Rodon, who just blew a kiss to Yankees fans at the Angel game. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
he signs that 6-year deal. You're not really seeing those long-term deals. And I think unless he's perfect, unless he goes into this offseason with an ERA around 2.5 or lower, I don't think you're going to see a monster deal. I think he has cost himself anywhere from $20 to $100 million. I mean, at the bottom level to the top level there. And I think for Julio, the most important thing is just getting back on track, going start for start. It's like not who we think he is. I mean, it reminds me of Rocky Balboa in Rocky Balboa, the movie in 2006. It ain't about how hard you hit it. It's about how hard you hit back, right? I mean, this is not who he is. This is not the real Julio Urias. We know that Urias is in there somewhere. I don't think you're seeing a guy who's washed, a guy who's done. For him, it's just about getting back to basics, getting the mechanics right, and being the pitcher we know that he can be. Because a lot of people, they say, yeah, he doesn't have high velocity. He's not a guy that's pumping 98, 99. I think that's to his advantage to an extent where he can't age well if he pitches to his style.
I just want to say I'm proud of myself for not interjecting with a Sly Stallone impression there. Like that, that's impressive by me. That shows growth. That shows maturity on my part in doing this for 1,700 years.
Do it. Do your Sly.
I don't know what we got on the super chat. No, what are people saying about Julio? What do we got about?
We got a lot of Julio right now. So we got Ricky G209 says, I love Urias, but he's not much better than Thor right now. Obviously, I mean, that ERA at 5.02, it's definitely not pretty.
It's painful when you look at it that way. Yeah,
Matty Man 5 Dodge says, no idea who this Julio is. Jose Guerra says, might need to let Julio walk. I do want to get back to the super chat question. Before I get to that, though, Doug, we got a question from Reed Hallett. He said, how much for a shoey? I think he's saying super chat, how much for a shoey? You got a number on that or what?
Oh, man.
Man, give me $2.
Listen.
$2. That's a low price for a shoey.
That's good value, though.
That's great value. You can do like 30 shoeys today if we get that.
He just needed all right, Doug needs a shoe
shoeys
sponsor.
Come from the heart. The shoeys come from the heart. Yeah.
Pay less. Give us a call.
My Jordan's already moldy right now, and they smell funky. So, but look, I mean, let's see how the show goes, okay?
Yeah. Another few quick Julios. We got MB says 6 to 8 years for Julio sounds right, but the Dodgers won't be the ones paying it. James Noriega said Julio is not done. He can still be a lead and contribute big time. So he kind of, I guess, is going back to the start before. But I do want to guess all the way back to the initial question, which I want to find quickly. Our first super chat. Okay, I don't remember. I can't find it exactly, but it was basically, can the Dodgers get a team-friendly deal on Julio now that he's struggling?
Just kind of what he was going for. What would you give him? What is your deal? Like, let's say 3 years? How much are you giving him for 3 years?
I don't think they'd bite on that. I think at that point they would say, we want to take a team-friendly 1-year deal, try to get back to the market. I would say for him to even consider it, which I still think is unlikely, you're looking at something 6 years, 130, 140 million, because you're still having to pay a premium. He's still young. He's a left-handed pitcher. He has a great track record. He has remained healthy, no arm, no shoulder issues. So, yeah, he has been going through it of late, but still we know that he's one of the better left-handed pitchers in the game, even though he's going through it.
That deal is terrible for him. It's terrible for Scott Boras because it would mean he's a free agent at age 33. You give him a 2-year deal with like either a mutual option or a player option. Let's say mutual. You give him a 2-year deal. He's a free agent at age 30. He can still go out and get the bag. So you got to think about that far ahead. I think the 1-year deal is nice. I don't think they go.
But I think he would almost consider that the 6 years is his bag. I think that at that point, you're probably saying for Julio Urias, you're protecting yourself from injury. You kind of look at, because look, this is how this stuff works, man. Scott Boras, his people, they're going to come to the negotiating table. They're going to have all their information. They're going to have all their statistics. And they're going to try to say, hey, this is one of the best pitchers in the game. And the team, let's say the Dodgers, they're going to say, okay, but look at these advanced metrics. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So they're going to try to, it's almost like a little mini arbitration hearing amongst each other. So I think that Julio, they understand his value. Scott Boras understands his value. I still believe, though, there's a lot of time left. I mean, if he goes out there, he has dominant starts in the postseason. He performs well. There's still an opportunity for him to sign a contract that's just shy of $200 million or north of $200 million. I think what people need to understand about Julio Urias is he's not a Rodon. He's not a Scherzer. He's not an older pitcher. He's not a pitcher that's 30. He's literally 26 years old. This is a guy that came up age 19. He's hitting free agency so early that they're going to be looking for those years and that security. And I do think there's going to be teams out there, the Texas Rangers, the Padres possibly. They are going to be suitors for Julio. So let's not forget. I mean, there's people that have struggled in their career. There's players that have had down times, but he just came off 2 really nice starts, 2 6-inning starts where he was looking quality.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get the bag somewhere, but for the exercise of the question and the idea of a not it's sort of a pillow contract or whatever, but idea I would put it more in the 2-year range. Question to you. Douglas McCain, and we haven't readdressed this since we did 6 months ago. We did one of our roundtables with friend of the show, Claudia Gestro. Check out Claudia online. She's one of the hardest working people in show business here. Where is Julio pitching in 2024? Now, here's your update. Here's your chance
tough
update.
one. I will preface this by saying that if you want to see Julio Urias in a Dodgers uniform, the only hope you had is for him to perform the way he is, for him to have the year he's having. Other than that, I think his bags are packed. He's gone. I still don't believe he's going to be back with the Dodgers next season because I still believe the Dodgers are going to go all in on Shohei Ohtani. If they get another starting pitcher at the deadline that has some team control, I think most likely you'll get guys that are on expiring contracts. But, hey, let's say, for example, you go out there and get a Max Scherzer and you sign a Shohei Ohtani. You got almost $100 million on pitching next season. But as far for the sake of this question, I still believe I have to stick with my original prediction. I think he ends up with the Texas Rangers. They have a lot of money to spend. Nice controlled environment there at Globe Life Field. We've seen the home and away splits the way they are. Maybe he benefits from going out there and going to a team that has signed some former Dodgers. We know Scott Boras and his relationship with that organization. So, yeah, I definitely think there's going to be one Dodgers starting pitcher on the Texas Rangers next season. Hopefully it's not Clayton Kershaw. But I think Julio Urias, ends up in Texas. I mean, I would love it for him to be on the Dodgers because he's the indelible image of the 2020 World Series. I love the Urias. This guy is one of my favorite pitchers to watch of all time. But that's just what my gut tells me.
3 teams I got. I like the Rangers. Right at the top of the list, Yankees. I already said Rangers. I think the Mariners are in because you know how the Mariners be right now. But the dark horse, and I hate it, San Francisco. They already have a lot of pitching, but that's a dark horse in my opinion. They will be kicking the tires on Julio Urias this offseason. Let's throw to that man over there, Mr. Noel.
Oh,
or Noah,
that's not
Noel's
my
friend,
name.
Noah. Whatever,
That's
man.
Noel.
Like, can you
I'm
guys
Noah.
switch? Like somebody can. Jeff, let's switch to Jeff. That's an easier name.
We got a lot going on in the chat right now. Doug, I think you set the bar a little low on that super chat, Chewy, because not only 1, not only 2, but 3 super chats.
Oh.
We got $2 from Reed Hallett. We got $2 from Grizzly OSO, and we got $1.99 from Nicholas Ramos. Then we got another one I'll get to after. But Reed Hallett said, hit it. We got Grizzly OSO said for the shoey, and we got Nicholas Ramos said the people want Jim Beam in the Jordans.
I gotta.
Doug, I think you set that bar significantly too low for the shoey.
Yeah. I think he has to check. He has to check what he left in the cup from Monday.
I think he meant $2,000, not $2. Doug, it's up to you.
First, guys, we appreciate the super chats. We appreciate you guys
give
playing
me the
along.
Hornitos can, buddy.
All right, Doug, I'm gonna let you think. 'Cause we got another super chat.
He's just like, go get me that.
Hook it up.
All right, this one, this one is from. Oh, we just got another one. We'll get to that one after. This one is from Julio Ailman, and this is
Julio. Yeah,
this one's a real question.
Why are you guys?
Why are you guys mean? This is a real question. A little back to Bueller talk. Don't you think it would be best for Bueller to come back next year to avoid injury? Obviously, we saw what happened with Dustin May coming back. But I want to get to that question as Doug contemplates the shoey. But don't you think it would be better for Bueller to come back next year? This was $5 from Julio Ailman. To come back next year to avoid injury.
I mean, yes and no. I think right now the plan is he knows his body. He knows where he's at. They know where he's at. They're not going to force him to come back this year. But wouldn't you, D-Mac, wouldn't you feel better going into the offseason knowing that you were able to throw, you're able to hit, or you're able to still get major league hitters out? You know, you pitch this year, even if it's for a little bit, even if he doesn't end up pitching well enough to make the postseason roster, get Walker back now. Let him have as normal of an offseason as possible. At least that's my take on it. While somebody over here locks in for his shoey because he done. You should have said 5 or
at
something.
Least,
like
maybe 10. I don't know. 2 is such a low bar.
No, I do, because everyone's going to be paying so much money next year at Dodger Stadium for beers for Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to say, hey, I'll give you the value here.
What you know about Shohei Ohtani?
Oh, he's taking the shoe off.
No, this is for
so nice.
This is for Shohei Ohtani.
So nice. Oh my God, that's so
nice.
No! What is happening?
For Shohei Ohtani, baby.
All right, all I'm saying is Reed Hallett just said I was willing to pay $100. So we need more super chats right now for Doug, because what he just did is actually disturbing. It is actually disturbing what he just did.
I now fully enact my veto power. Doug will no longer do any shoeys until the Dodgers make the postseason,
or until people give hundreds of dollars.
And they're going to be 25 cents.
Yeah, I mean, that was absurd.
All right, that's your last regular season shoey, unless they get like Lucas Giolito or something like that. That's what I say.
Why is it on my back?
All right, I gotta jump in here because people are talking about the shoey. We got Nicholas Ramos. He said, most trusted man in Dodgers media, Douglas McCain.
I got your
man
back, guys.
of
I
the
got
people.
your back.
I could not agree more. Orlando said at this point, Doug does shoeys for pleasure. Honestly, I think Orlando
it just
might be
hits
right.
different buzz for
I'm
sure.
I'm getting a call. It's actually the police. They said they're coming to get Doug. Doug
take my keys.
A little scared.
Guys, we got more Doug content because Spencer hit that button. We got a super chat. All right, Doug, I'm going to let you answer as much as this or as little as this question as you want.
Oh, my
this
goodness.
is Sammy Smith, $10 super chat. He said, or she, thanks for the content, D-Mac. Maybe weird question, but how long have you been covering the Dodgers, and how old are you? I'll let you answer as much as that as you want.
Oh, hey.
Damn, what you know about only Doug over here?
Well, first of all, I've been covering the Dodgers since 2019, since Mr. Clint has put me on here, the greatest day of my life.
Since I hired him in 2019, one of the best hirings I've ever done for this company.
Ever.
Oh, yeah. To answer your second question, I don't want to hurt my value, man. A real lady doesn't say their age. I'm like Carlos in bench warmers, right? I'm like Carlos in bench warmers. You can't know my age.
He's the right age.
Yeah, the perfect age for you. But yeah, since 2019, the boys in blue, Mr. Clint has put me on here, greatest day of my life, and it's been good times ever since.
And
make sure you know, again, he was brought on to do the post-game post-game show, and you guys have made it this by far the best post-game show online. So we appreciate so much the support you guys have given not only our team here, but especially this man who works his ass off to bring you guys content every day, every week.
Absolutely.
Hardest working man in show business, DMAC _ whether he's making you bar guides or tragic tales of Andrew Tolles.
He does it all.
He goes hard in the paint. What else you got for me?
A few more quick DMAC love, because obviously he deserves it. We got D Goat from Carnivorous Lunar Activity. We got Craig Osterberg, our man. He said, Doug, you're the man. Matty Man 5 Dodge said, oh, so that's a shoey. I'm very concerned. Yeah.
Shuhei Ohtani.
I just want to say, Michael Carrillo, I know you got a super chat. I'm saving that for trade talk. I just want you to hear me say that. But, Spencer, hit that button one more time.
Oh, wow. What a special day. Apparently, all Doug needs to say is he's going to be a shoey whore.
I mean, that's all he needs. But
I'm not shaming.
I mean, this one's from
Camille
Harris, who's going to have a little Cody shout out. She said, I just want to hear that awesome super chat song. Shout out Cody, producer Cody, for making that one. But Michael, I'm going to get to your super chat when we get to trade talk. I did not forget about you. I'm saving it for trade talk.
So it's trade talk season. Let's get into it. Doug, we're kind of introducing a semi new segment here. I'm just going to call it Love 'em or Leave 'em. You have multiple trade scenarios. This guy did the homework. He laid out. He stayed up all night playing around on, what is that, Baseball Savant or something?
Yeah, baseball, MLB trade values. And, of course, it's not 100% accurate, okay? And a lot of these, we look at the values, it's dependent on how much money you're going to take back. It's kind of just a general idea. Yeah. And really, it's more so to really consider the players we want to get. Who do we want to target in the trade market? And I think first and foremost, the number one need is, especially coming off a conversation about Julio Urias, is starting pitcher. I'm not confident with Julio in game one right now. I think you need to go out there and get a guy. They're desperate for starting pitching. Hopefully Buehler bounces back like you said, but I think you need to go out there and get one more premium guy. So we will start, though, with a team I want to see the Dodgers go pillage, and I think this is a go big one. This is a go big one for multiple starting pitchers, okay? And I think that might be a little excessive, but I do think if you want to part ways with some of these prospects, and guys will tell you that follow this team on the minor league level, there's going to be a numbers crunch. You have to get rid of some of these guys. Yeah. And what they tell their players at the minor league level is, hey, you're not just auditioning for the Dodgers, you're also auditioning for 30 teams out there. So at some point, you got to trade them or play them. And for this package, Dodgers get Dylan Cease. And Dylan Cease is a guy who has top shelf stuff, hasn't had the greatest year, but he has electric stuff. I think on the Dodgers, he would thrive. He has multiple years of team control, so it wouldn't be a rental. You get Lucas Giolito, who's also a rental. He'll be with the Dodgers for the rest of the season. And then you get Kendall Graveman, who's been one of the best relievers in baseball this season.
This is a haul.
This is a big package. And I think you address a couple of needs, though. I mean, you get two starting pitchers.
Yeah, you're coming out swinging. You're fixing the team with this trade, essentially.
And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at Lance Lynn. I almost think if you look at Lance Lynn, 27.7 strikeout rate. The ERA is sky high. The opponent's batting average is sky high. But he's a guy that if you could get for pennies, I wouldn't be totally against. But Kendall Graveman, a 3.07 ERA, one more year left on his deal, $8 million. He's got the team control. Fastball velocity is in the 85th percentile, 74th percentile on whiff rate, above average and limiting hard contact. He's not elite with the K percentage, but he also has 8 saves this season, so he can miss bats in big situations. He can give you saves. Question is, what do the Dodgers get up? So Dodgers, they give up in this trade.
That's like a 7 for 3.
This probably is a big one. I mean, Michael Busch, Nick Frasso, Landon Knack, Pages, and River Ryan.
So you're only going 5 for 3,
but that's
that's all top 15 talent though.
Well, yeah,
from the system.
I mean, Dylan Cease is a major. I mean, Dylan Cease, his trade value is over 50 because of all the team control. So I think this one is unlikely. Yeah. But I would say you could also look at a package like that, and if you go to a Giolito, maybe add another guy, you probably would have to possibly start talking about Diego Cartaya for a Luis Robert. And if you want to go that big, you got, instead of going with Dylan Cease, and you think Giolito can be your guy, who, by the way, Giolito, he got rocked in his last start. I mean, he got absolutely obliterated. He gave 8 runs on 8 hits and 3 2/3. So, hey, guess what? It can happen to everyone. Just look at our friend Julio Urias just gave 8 runs. But what are your thoughts on just that trade? Is some of you would pull the trigger on, Clint?
Give me the names again.
So in this one,
I know the White Sox names. Who are the Dodgers against? So you had Busch, who is the number one. Like, that's the most likely guy to be traded. He has nowhere to play in LA. He never will have a place to play in LA. They just don't. They love him. They're not going to create a spot for him on the active roster. So he is gone, I feel, just about no matter what this trade deadline. You mentioned Nick Frasso. That's a sell him while he's hot. I like that idea.
Could be a reliever, triple digit.
Landon
Dodgers
Knack,
number 8 prospect.
If they believed in him, or if they were ready for him, if they were ready to add another rookie to the rotation, they'd already call him up. But he's 25 now. He's on the older side of the prospect spectrum. He's having his best year between Double A and Triple A.
He is like Lucas Giolito in a lot of ways as far as his comp, so that's something to consider as well. And look, what this trade does is you're giving up a Michael Busch who this organization has told us they're not committed to him. So at some point, you have to trade him. You have to give him an opportunity. This guy's closer to 30 than he is to 20. And if you don't have a role for him this season, I think he's a guy that you have to trade at this deadline. You get to keep Diego Cartaya. You don't have to move a Gavin Stone, who I still think has potential, even though he's struggling. You get to keep some of the top
some
prospects.
Of those top guys. I love the deal, and this signals the win now. Like you've talked about, this is a season where you really do kind of need to go all in, because this might be one way or another Clayton Kershaw's last season, either as a big league pitcher or in Los Angeles. So you try to send him out on a good note. You try to maximize the ability to either cover for the eventual loss of Julio or build a better rotation around him, which as of right now is really just led by Walker Buehler and Tony Gonsolin, because you don't know what you're going to get out of Bobby Miller. You don't know what you're going to get out of Emmett Sheehan, who's another guy I think will be traded this deadline. And Dustin May has proven he's not a starter. Michael Grove, they're not in on him. He's not a big time, a full-time big league starter. And Pepio, still got to see more of Ryan Pepio. So anyways, I like the deal. A lot of prospect huggers definitely will not. You're trading away some key names, but you're also leaving yourself a lot and fixing some major problems on this roster right now.
And if you look at what this organization can do, they're like a billionaire. A billionaire is never broke, right? A billionaire, they find a way to generate money once again. And that's what this Dodgers team will do. And there's a reason why they don't have to go out there and spend big in free agency every offseason. You have these trade chips for a reason, because you can get guys that are on shorter-term deals. Luis Robert for 3-4 seasons, that's a lot better than a Xander Bogaerts at 11 years, right? The Dodgers don't have to sign those bad deals and give all that money on the back end. All we'll say, too, is I feel like the Dodgers need an ace. Lucas Giolito isn't an ace, right?
He's not?
I don't think he's an ace. I think he's a number 2 on his best day, really a middle of your rotation type of guy. Yes, he's pitched a no-hitter. Yes, he's had some really quality starts. But I think if you look at this trade market, I mean, Dylan Cease is a guy last season. I mean, he was phenomenal at 2.20 ERA. He has that top shelf stuff. Max Scherzer could be available, but then you're talking about $43.3 million after this season. And then Marcus Stroman, is he really an ace? I mean, he's put up ace level numbers. I think he's due for some regression to the mean. And I think if you get an ace, you can push everyone back, versus you get Lucas Giolito. He's not starting game 1 for you. He's probably not starting game 2 for you if Julio and Clayton Kershaw are healthy. He's a guy that's going to get you to October. Will he get you through October? That's a question I have.
Well, they're probably not going to go back-to-back lefties, so he's starting game 2 for you for sure. But this is a three-time top 15 Cy Young award finalist. Like, he's also been buried on the god-awful White Sox for a very long time. So it's I think the idea of him not being an ace, that's still TBD. Like, we don't know what his real ceiling is, because he's pitched for a bad team, bad front office, doesn't have the tools and the talent and all the guys in place that make the pitchers they pick up, like Ryan Brazier, who, I was saying for months that Ryan Brazier is going to be. I'm just making fun of you.
I had it for my one I love too. My up for earlier. Too late.
Let's go back.
Okay.
Start
Too late.
the show.
I'll take it for next week. That
I would love.
nice.
Like, even I think Noah and I were talking Lance Lynn earlier. I was talking Lance Lynn to somebody, or maybe I was just typing about it, or maybe it was just in my nightmares. But like, the idea of Lance Lynn coming to the Dodgers and working with Mark Pryor in the pitching lab, like, they can fix it. They can fix things. They couldn't fix Noah Syndergaard, but they can fix just about anything else. Got the tools. They got the talent. So Giolito coming to LA, getting with those guys, where he's in an organization that actually puts its money towards prospect development, pitching development, towards their players getting better after they already reached the big leagues, you've never seen any of their players really get better. They just kind of are there and sort of taper off. And I'm going to call that the Tim Anderson effect, because he has not been good. And it's not a good place to play. Southside sucks.
Yeah, not everyone. You would have a comment, Noah? Okay. Yeah, I mean, look.
It's your shows.
That's not always the case. We've seen Dodgers go to other teams. I mean, Tyler Anderson's been bad with the Angels. We've seen Cody Bellinger have a good bounce back here. I mean, there's examples of players playing well outside.
Heaney's doing well.
Heaney's pitched well. Now, if you look at it, he's been okay, but he's had his moments, though.
But,
yeah, definitely
but
better than Tyler Anderson. Yeah.
The Angels are a team that don't invest in that pitching development.
They don't. And there's a lot that goes into it.
They don't even invest in the in paying the visiting clubhouse clubbies.
Or even the press room.
So they got to make some money on the side.
The press room had popcorn. Come on now. But yeah, I will say, though, the red flags for Lucas Giolito. He's had trouble keeping the ball in the yard this year. He's allowed 20 home runs. That's the 8th most in Major League Baseball. His 1.55 home runs per 9 is the 10th highest. Does have a 3.04 ERA. That's 11th. And what I like most about him is he's a guy that posts a 118 in a third innings pitch, 118 in third innings. That's 15th. But I will say, Lance Lynn, I'm to the point where, yeah, you look at that ERA, it's almost double. Opponent's batting average, the K percentage is above average. But if you look at some of his stuff, I mean, expected batting average, if you look at expected slug, I would love the idea of Lance Lynn in Dodger Blue. I mean, he's in the 28th percentile in expected slug, a hard hit percentile. He's below average, barrel percentage, walk percentage, average fastball velocity. That's not his bag, but I think if you packaged him and got multiple guys, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But Kendall Graveman is a guy that's going to be big in the deal. But let's talk about this next deal.
Hold on, we got some stuff from the chat. Let's go to the chat.
Yeah, very quickly. We got 3 super chats. I'm gonna get 2 right now, 1 later. Let's hit it. All right. So this one fits perfectly on the topic of White Sox, where I wanted to jump in now. This is just from Michael Bilgen, $5. Thank you, Michael. He said Jim Bowden proposed a trade between the Dodgers and White Sox. It was Rushing, Vivas, and Stoner Grove for Giolito, Anderson, and Graveman. So an interesting proposal. I don't know if you guys want to give very short. I mean, you kind of gave most about it already.
Well, we know how Jim Bowden works. He just has a piece of paper that has the top 30 guys on it, plus 10 off, and he just goes that one, that one, and that one.
So there's our thoughts on that one.
Hypothetically, I mean, Tim Anderson, I don't think he's going to come around again this season. I think a change of scenery would do him well, but I just think that, I think that ship has sailed as far as him being a Dodger. I wouldn't be opposed to it if they made the deal, if they got some of those other guys as far as the throw-in, but, I mean, he has negative trade value, doesn't hit for power, doesn't really have a spot as far as where he's going to bat in the lineup. I think that's something, too. So, defensively, he's definitely below average, so I'm not too big on that deal. The second deal, though, we have is this one is a little more conservative, a little more not as blockbuster, but you got Lucas Giolito coming to the Dodgers, Kendall Graveman. I think those are the 2 biggest things. You need a reliever, you need a starting pitcher, and I think we go get a bat from another team, maybe the Washington Nationals. We'll talk about that in a second. And then the White Sox, they get Landon Knack, you got Edie Leonard, and you got River Ryan. So that, to me, is a pretty fair deal. I think you get pitching in return, you get a position player, you get Landon Knack, who I think is going to be steady at the very least. So I like that deal. And look, let's not forget that Giolito, he's an expiring contract. If you look at what they got for Yu Darvish back in 2017, the Dodgers gave their number 4, 17, and 27 prospects. So it's definitely something that is on par with that.
Yeah, it's to me it sounds a little bit of an overpay. Just because they have so many guys that are going to be under team control for it, as opposed to the Dodgers essentially getting a one and done starter and whatever. But that doesn't preclude them from working out an extension after the fact or what have you. That's my thought. I mean, at this point, those guys aren't going to help the team this year. They might not really help too much next year. I mean, maybe Knack. I'm okay with it.
I mean, look, I got news for you. If you want to get an impact player, you are going to 100% overpay with multiple teams
especially
involved.
In this market.
Not a lot of aces available. It's like buying a water bottle at a concert, right? You're going to have to pay $6.25 for that water bottle, okay?
It's like buying a shoe.
You're going to love it. Yeah, so that's just the reality. If you want to go, that's basically the base level. You're going to have to overpay to a degree. It just comes down to who's competitive, who are the natural trade partners. I think the Dodgers, yes, it's a natural trade partner with the White Sox. Who knows? Joe Kelly could be in the mix. You could throw in multiple receivers. If Liam Hendricks was healthy and you could trust that, he's a guy where you would ultimately get in and he's under contract for next season. That that deal, $15 million, will be automatically put in play, and that's something you consider too. But next one, I think it's a little more up your alley.
Did you have more stuff though? I know there was more in the tank.
I can save it for after.
Jump in whenever you
want.
No,
you finish. It's really
well. I mean, we not rattled off one of the super chats of like.
We got two more. Yeah,
2 more super chats.
Are they related to the White Sox?
Not White Sox. So we'll save them.
We're gonna save them. We'll pocket them. You just
actually one of them kind of can be. We're gonna hit this one. Hit the music.
Gotta be demanding.
So this one, I'm gonna bring it up because it has to do with bullpen. You're talking bullpen. So Gabe 199, thank you, Gabe. He just said be ready to see Ken Giles soon. So obviously Ken Giles is someone who's around.
He's throwing at AAA right now. His first game at AAA gave up a run, but I think he's pitched decently.
Yeah, so maybe he can fill some bullpen. Maybe
one guy we will never see, and I've been saying it all season long, Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah. All right, Doug, let's get another trade.
Ken Giles, I mean, at one point, is one of the game's best relievers, and if any organization can fix him, it's this one's. But next one,
my Ken Giles impression.
You Ken Giles. Oh, when he punched himself, that was classic.
Yeah. Dumbass. Kind of hurt a little bit. Am I getting soft in my old age? The answer is yes.
So next one, the Cardinals get Maddox Brungs, you get Landon Knack, and you get Ramos, and then the Dodgers get you can either get Hicks or you could get Montgomery. So I mean that one you could also get Jack Flaherty in the mix as well. I think for me, when you look at Jordan Hicks, when you look at Montgomery, I mean Jordan Hicks, of course, as a reliever, he's a guy that throws gas. He's a guy that's going to miss bats, fastball velocity in the 100th percentile. We saw what Aroldis Chapman's been able to do this season. I think in the postseason, you want to offer that dynamic, and the Dodgers really don't have that. Yes, you have Bruce Dark Gratterall, but he's not a guy that's going to be missing bats. If you look at Hicks, we're talking about a guy in the 87th percentile whip percentage, but he also misses barrels. The fastball is where you need it to be. The expected numbers are where you need it to be. The walk rate isn't great, and that definitely is a little bit of concern. But basically, the deal with the Cardinals, I'm looking at one of those starting pitchers. I'm looking at either Montgomery or Flaherty. You pair that with Hicks. If you want to go position player route, you could look at a Tyler O'Neill, where Tyler O'Neill, we know the Dodgers could use another outfielder, but his strikeout rate is absolutely sky high this season. He was on the 60-day IL with a back injury, but in 2021, he was fantastic. He was an all-star, 34 home runs, one of the best outfielders in the game that season.
The big thing with that, though, it's like they're not going to move off of the outfield of Peralta, Outman, and Hayward right now against a right-handed pitcher. Like the outfield we see, there is nothing at this point. Like they would need to just completely, any one of those guys would need to completely stop hitting for Dave Roberts and not have them in the lineup in October. So getting somebody like that, as great as it would be, it's 100% a market improvement for the 26 man. But then you're essentially trading who knows how much to get a former all-star outfielder to be your fourth outfielder and start in left or center or wherever they try to put him against left-handed pitching only. And I don't know if they do that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I'm not high on the idea. I would just know that a lot of people are. For me, it's more about, I mean, I would rather go
better than Jake Marisnick.
Better than Jake Marisnick, that's for sure. I mean, right. Edman is a guy that's under multiple years of team control. Paul DeYoung. I mean, there are other guys, but I think more it's from the pitching side. And I think third base, we got to talk about your big white whale, Nolan Arenado. So Nolan Arenado, of course, that's going to be a massive deal. I think the big kicker in that deal is could you get him for a Bruns, a Bush, a Knack, a Ramos? But the difference is how much money are the Cardinals willing to pay, if any? Will he just go away with that no trade clause? Will he approve of a trade to the Dodgers? I think he will. I think that he's had his eyes on Dodger blue pretty much in his entire career as a Southern California kid. So I think he will. Only question is, I mean, if the Dodgers don't absorb, if the Cardinals don't absorb some of that salary, how will that impact the trade? And I think that one, if you get Arenado, Hicks, and Montgomery, then you get your bat, but you get at a position where it can help you defensively. You can leave that outfield intact.
That is a blockbuster. I mean, that's an off-season move for sure. Of all those guys, you heard me riff. You've seen me. We put it on the Instagram machine as well. I'm all aboard the Arenado train. Again, I think it makes this team so much better. The reality is, the Cardinals have said it's like, they're willing to trade him, but it's got to be the perfect deal. And I don't know if they can sell trading one of him or Goldie and giving another team money. Like that's a hard sell in what's been such a bad season for them. We know the fan base, the Cardinal fan base, they go strong, but that's a hard sell to a fan base that's already struggling with the loss of Yadier Molina, with all that kind of stuff, and having a bad season. Noah, what you got for me?
It's officially time to get to Michael Carrillo Super Chat. So,
man, what a crazy.
So Michael has
you guys.
patiently waited.
Here we go.
I think he sent this about 10 hours ago.
Sorry,
so he
Mike.
very patiently waited, and it's on the Cardinals topic.
Why
His
are you
question,
gatekeeping here, man?
it was a perfect. I knew we were gonna get there. So his question was a potential O'Neal Montgomery trade package, like what, if that's a possibility for the Dodgers. I know you basically talked about it. Any final thoughts? And then we got 2 more super chats also.
Yeah,
So
I would say. I would say for sure. I mean, those guys.
What was your deal again?
My deal if I was the Dodgers, I would definitely try to see if you get Hicks. I mean, he's on an expiring deal. That's one I would absolutely pursue. But Montgomery's a guy that they're probably going to deal. I mean, could you get Montgomery and Hicks for a Bruns, Knack, and Ramos? I think that's a fair deal. I think that makes sense for the Cardinals. I think maybe you see maybe 1 or 2 of those guys and a lesser Dodgers prospect. That's also possible. But they're going to trade Montgomery. They're going to trade Hicks. They have to unload all these guys because they're not going to be back. As far as Montgomery versus Hicks. I mean, Montgomery, a 3.14 ERA this season, goes with that sinker change, that curveball. Flaherty, though, I think if you're going to go that route, I think Flaherty, you're going to see if he can be available. Because Flaherty, he does not look like the guy that he was in 2019 when he was striking out almost 30% of the batters he was facing. ERA FIP north of 4, strikeout rate below average, walk rate below average. The 4-seam slider, curveball, cutter. But he is above average at missing barrels. Opponents are hitting 305 off his 4-seam fastball. That's a concern. So I think that the Dodgers would probably want to see Flaherty if they're going to get one of those starting pitchers.
Like Flaherty's
a right-hand pitcher.
Flaherty's a 2, like Montgomery doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't. That's a regular season
pretty good
move.
though.
It's a regular season move, and yeah, he's had a really good career since 21.
Yeah.
But he's still not like that's not your game 1 starter. It's not a game 2 starter. That's the game 4 starter. And if you're trying to go out there and get an ace with the postseason in mind, that's not necessarily your guy. But this is a team that needs help to fill innings now, and that's where that move does help. And there's nothing wrong with having there's nothing wrong with having a Rich Hill in the back end of your rotation. Something like that,
Yeah, no, you're 100% right on that. I think for me, though, that's why I'm not as bullish on a trade with the Cardinals because I don't love the starting pitcher that you're going to get back. I love Hicks. I think maybe you could plug a position player there, but really it's not the perfect scenario unless the Dodgers are hell-bent on trying to get Arenado. Maybe they have intel that they're not going to get Shohei Ohtani, and if that's the case, if you look at past 2024, Dodgers don't have very many guys on the books. Mookie and Freddie are essentially the only long-term deals. Chris Taylor, Austin Barnes, some of these guys are going to fall off, and yeah, I mean, it makes some sense. I still want to keep the flexibility and maintain that. And yes, you can get Arenado and a Shohei Ohtani theoretically. But yeah, I think Jordan Montgomery, only thing he really does great is he doesn't walk guys. He limits hard contact. But I agree with you. He's not a guy that's going to move the needle enough to say, okay, let's pull the trigger and part ways with some of these better prospects.
Noah, what else you got for me?
Yeah, so there's a lot going on here.
Yes, sir.
Before I get to the super chats, a lot of Jordan Hicks love in the chat. So people are
Jordan
very
Hicks is electric.
high
Man,
on
people
him.
love the velo.
Yeah, I mean, people love him as a potential shutdown reliever. But I think they're testing me and Spencer today because we got 2 more super chats.
Yes, sir. Thursday.
Just leave it running.
Yeah, honestly.
Thursday.
So I'm going to start with this one. I don't know if you had another trade package coming for the Tigers, but Gabe, $4.99. Thank you for the super chat.
Awesome.
He says he would like to see a package to Detroit for Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Alex. I think it's Lange. I don't know if it's Lange or Lang. I don't know how to say his name, but I know he's a good reliever. I don't know which one it is, but he wants to see a package for those 2. Any thoughts?
I think he's closing for them.
Yeah,
no,
he's
doing
definitely one of the better relievers. That's a guy who can absolutely help this team as far as
I can't not think of Erod and see him throwing his glove on the mound. I mean, if we're going to Detroit, I would rather come home with Lorenzen right now myself. But anyways, I'm going to leave it to you, Douglas.
Yeah, no, Rodriguez is a guy who could absolutely help this team. Strikeout rate, a little above average, ERA under 3. He's a guy that's going to have some suitors out there. He's a guy that is for sure, if you're in the market for a starting pitcher, I do expect him to be traded at the deadline. I personally would go, look, you're not going to get all these guys. I would go with Giolito over him at this stage. I think.
That's for me, Giolito is my pitcher, man. That's my guy. That's the guy.
Yeah,
But
so, I mean, Rodriguez,
I'm not
though, I
making
mean,
the trades.
Yeah, I mean, Cisnero also on the Detroit Tigers could help this team. If you look at Rodriguez contractually, he's got that opt-out, so it's very interesting how that kind of lines up. So I think if you're the Dodgers, you don't want to kind of bring in anyone. It does feel like they want to bring in a guy unless they truly believe that he's going to be at ace level. They truly want to invest in. And I think, yeah, he probably is. I mean, he's at an ace level for sure.
He also comes with some baggage. He kind of just like dipped on them at one point to start the season. I forgot what it was.
He just bounced,
but he was on the restricted list. I don't remember what it was, but anyways.
Yeah.
I said my piece. Give me Lorenzen instead.
Yeah,
I see arms in the Aya like they care.
Yeah. So we already had another super chat.
Personal matter.
But we just got another super chat.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Spencer is just pushing super chat buttons.
How's that finger doing? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down.
I mean, he is
he's locked in. Let's go.
So
17-hour live show.
Yeah, the other one was not fully on topic, so I was going to save it. So I'm going to go to the one that is fully on topic. Rob T, $10.
Hey, Rob T.
He said, reunite Jack and Gio. That's Jack Flaherty and Lucas Giolito. The Harvard Westlake two-headed monster. LA locals. Go blue. Ohtani a Dodger in 2024. He is dropping heat, Rob T.
Man, Rob T, $10. How much is he throwing towards the Dodgers like front office fund here?
Yeah.
Because he's getting Michelada's gonna be $50 next season.
Those Wolverines are going to be back, man. The Harvard Westlake Wolverines.
He was sitting on that one.
Yeah, he's been saving that Wolverine. How many tackles did he have in his freshman year high school game?
Look, you're not going to get both those guys. I think it's unlikely, but
no, it's
not
a trade.
this year.
It's a trade with
it's
a trade with one team. That's what they're doing this year. It's what they do every year. It's one team they focus on. Whether it's going out and getting Manny Machado 6-for-1 or 3-for-1 to get Yu Darvish or whatever the hell it is. That's what this team does. They don't go hard in the paint on two different teams.
Yeah.
You had something else to
I mean,
add?
there is a second super chat if you guys want. It's a little off topic.
All the super
but
chats.
If you want
If
it,
it's
all right,
off
we'll hit
topic,
the
why
music.
not?
All right, getting music. My neck hurts.
So this one is from J-Dog again. Thank you, J-Dog.
J-Dog.
$1.99. He said, D-Mac, Vargas has been killing AAA but lost in MLB. Thoughts? This is your boy Miguel Vargas.
Yeah.
One, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know that.
He had to put the train at the station for a while.
Hey,
The stock has just plummeted.
if Miguel Vargas has no more fans, it means I'm no longer on this earth. Okay, you guys know that. I'm not gonna do the whole speech, but I'm very intrigued and very excited by how he looks going 4 for 4. I mean, look, this is a guy that has talent. His bat to ball skills. I just want to see him hit line drives, lift the ball a little more, go gap to gap in. Clint, I don't know if you heard Mookie Betts talking about Miguel Vargas and the fact that, yeah, he's going through it a little bit, and they expect him to be back. I mean, to hear Mookie Betts say that, it carried weight with me, and I hope and pray that he comes back because I don't want to see him get traded. I think he has a lot of potential. I think defensively, you kind of worry about his fit. He needs to find a place where he can get it done and justify him at the plate with the stick. But I still think it's too early to sell your stock on Miggy Vargas. And it's good to see him after an 0-3 first game really get going.
Yeah, he has an opportunity to work his way back. Is it going to be this season? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be because like injuries forced the team's hand. I think he will play his way back because they really want him to play second base. And let's be fair, you probably like I love what Jay Hayes doing. I would rather have Marcus Lynn Betts, a Gold Glove right fielder out there. I mean, they're both Gold Glove right fielders, but I would rather have Mookie in the outfield come playoff time. He's been great. He's phenomenal in the infield, but you know, call me old fashioned. It worked the last time they were, you know, they had actual World Series chances when he was playing right field.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's when everything starts to really materialize after the trade. I think things are going to kind of solidify, and you'll start to see that as well. But this next one, I'm excited to run this one by you. Okay?
All right.
Nationals get Nationals get Landon Knack, Edie's Leonard, Michael Busch. Dodgers get Jeimer Candelario and Lane Thomas. And I think that's a deal. Lane Thomas, he's one of the most underrated players in baseball. I feel like Jonah Hill in Moneyball, just trying to point out he's one of the most underrated players in baseball, and he's a guy, he crushes against left-handed pitching. He's under team control for multiple seasons. He's hitting over 1,000 against left-handed pitching, plays mainly center field, right field, can play left field. So that's a name. And then Jeimer Candelario, one of the better defenders in the league, above average bat, also is a switch hitter. So that's a move that maybe you make a move just for starting pitching for the White Sox. You get Graveman, you get Giolito, and then you get in a Jamer Candelario. And by the way, I feel like this is unlikely. I just kind of wanted to point out this deal with the Nationals because I think offensively it could help. I'm not saying I'm totally gung-ho on the idea of cashing on Bush for this, but Thomas is a guy who, I'm telling you, he's one of the more underrated players in the league. Hits the ball hard.
The Thomas one, I mean, admittedly, I'm like a Washington fan. I don't know much about the Nationals these days. I just know in looking at the stats right now, while you're talking about it, Candelario is having his best season ever. And, expiring deal or whatever. I'm not giving them 2 high value prospects or 2, top 10 prospects or whatever names you said. Like, yeah, you threw in Eddie Leonard. I'd rather get rid of Eddie Leonard because they're never going to use him, and he's just taking up space on the 40-man.
Well, the reason why it'd be so expensive is Thomas has 2 arbitration years left.
Yeah.
So that's really what makes that expensive. But I have a challenge for you. I mean, I want to get a promise from you. If we do trade for Jamer Candelario, I know one of those guys says when he talks about our team. Blood think he on the team.
Let me see what I got in here. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was handed some money, so I got a pretty good amount of money going here.
Give me a David Ortiz. Give me a pay the man. Pay the man.
Can I get a Major League Baseball player for about like $120?
For $120? Yeah. Man, I think Puig would probably play for that right now. Let's be honest.
He's in LA.
Let's be honest.
He's in LA.
Let's be honest. But how about this? If we get Jamer Candelario, you have to do a shoey.
Oh man, it's gonna be a fresh shoe,
a brand new Croc,
brand new Croc
with gibbets.
Yeah, I feel stupid. Whatever, sure, they're not gonna get him.
It's possible.
Just dead fist you. Like, can we meet in the middle where it's just there? It is. Oh yeah, that looked good on the camera there.
Okay, I just want to make sure. And then this next one, because I want to get your thoughts on Marcus Stroman.
2 hours. You know.
Yeah, we'll end this real quick. So
2 hours.
Dodgers,
show.
They get Marcus Stroman. The Cubs get River Ryan, Jose Ramos, and infielder Alex Freeland. So just what are your thoughts on Marcus Stroman? You've heard what I've had to say. I think he's really solid. I don't think he's an ace in a critical postseason series. I think he's a number 2 or number 3 that's having a career year. But what say you?
I think this past offseason, Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomes, even Dave Roberts, they all put their – more so the first 2. They put their thinking caps on to bring in guys that completely buy in, that are team players, that are clubhouse net positives. I think Stroman just brings a little bit too much outside noise that would disturb a team that's in really, really, like, that clubhouse is tight. You've seen it in person. They play for each other. Dave was talking about it when the team flew in to Baltimore after losing that final game against the Mets in New York. It was usually you'd go in, you walk into the clubhouse after a loss like that, and you'd be a little bit more downtrodden. They're having fun. They're having a good time, and it's deserved because they're playing well. I think the Stroman thing is just that's a bit too much of a clubhouse shakeup. We don't know if it's good or bad. It's just you don't know. If he has 2 bad starts, LA media gets on him, he could turn. He can sour really quick.
Yeah, you can turn on some fans. You go crazy. I agree with you. I'm not in on Marcus Stroman. I'm not on the Stroman trade. He's that $21 million player option, so I'm out on Stroman, which means that
no.
He's a Stro no. I like that. Okay, and then Cody Bellinger, not going to get all that. It's just not going to happen. Let's just be honest. But
with 3 lefty swinging outfielders that are
not
doing
gonna happen.
really
and
well.
I wish him well. Big Belly Ever, you guys know that. But last trade package, and this is a blockbuster of all blockbusters. This is the Randy Jackson. That's a no from me, dog, on this one. But the Angels get Josue DePaula, Nick Nastrini, Ryan Pepio, Dalton Rushing, Emmett Sheehan, Gavin Stone. And that's pretty much a whole ass starting rotation to starting catcher in 2025.
Tyler, let's go. Bring back TA. He's got that dog
Who says
in him.
no?
Think about it. Doug gets to post got that dog in him.
For
video.
that, it's worth it. Yeah. To me, that's an insane haul for rental. This was actually proposed by ESPN, by the way, and we know that John Morosi has said it's unlikely that he's going to be traded to the Dodgers, and that if they do trade him at all, it's going to come down to the very end. You saw the Angels, they lost 9 of 10. They've won 3 of 4. They're starting to turn things around, but that is too big of a haul for a rental. Unless it comes with a guaranteed extension, that would change everything.
Yeah, Morosi got a note from his editor. You need to get Ohtani to Dodgers in your story any way you can. And John said, all right, I'm going to make sure that people tweet screenshots of it then. Out of spite. So
this guy knows the game. Maybe I'll call Sam Blum.
That's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's
you
big no.
You essentially have 2 degrees of separation from Shohei with Jose Mota. Yeah,
that's facts. I'll work my magic. I'll try to see what's up.
Right now.
But the bottom line is, look, this Dodgers team, they have all the resources, they have all the options, they have the prospect capital, they have the financial muscle to absorb salary. We're going to do this again next week. We're going to do more trade packages, talk about other teams. So this is just the beginning. It's going to be trade madness here at Dodgers Nation, and we're going to keep it going. But last topic here, let's talk some Corey Seager.
Gotta quickly talk Corey Seager, but first I see a hand up.
Yes, super chat.
Another one. Let's go.
What are we gonna do with all this money?
Okay, we got not one, not two,
LeBron?
but we got 3 super chats.
Oh wow, that's
We're
insane.
starting with Rob T, $2. Didn't say anything, just sharing the love. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
If I missed a comment from him, I'll get back to it, but I don't see one from him. Then we got J-Dog, 3rd time. He's triple dipping. He's $1.99. He says, thanks for the show, guys. You make work go by faster. So that's really nice.
Much.
And then Rob T again. So I think this is the comment he was trying to hit. Another $2. He says, we'll say $4 from Rob T. He says, for the official Artie Moreno Haterade Fund.
Yes, the biggest hater of all the haters. I love that.
All right, let's go Corey Seager.
I believe there's another super chat coming.
Yo, another super chat.
Oh, super chat.
We're about to pay half of this. Half of Otani's contract.
We got a super chat from, I'm going to read this username, C Pacius 20. I don't know who that is. Must be a fan. Must be a fan.
Hold up.
Big fan of this show.
He said, Doug, do super chat.
Oh, shit. There's too many things I was trying to say. I mean, they were trying to say, Doug, do shoey, $2.
You said, Doug, do.
It was worth.
He's working too
I'll
fast.
some money goes right back in the pot.
It was worth the bit.
Oh,
All
we
right.
got another one. Dude. This is from.
I feel so bad for Spencer.
I know.
This is like his first show, and it's an absolute
I feel bad for
nightmare.
everyone hearing my voice so much.
It's not a nightmare. We appreciate the hell out of
this
these,
is
especially
awesome.
CPCS20. He's a very handsome listener.
This one is from Eddie for Reels with a Z at the end. $5. Go Dodgers Nation.
Let's
Thank you.
go
We love
Dodgers.
Eddie for
Nation.
reals.
All right, you guys can go to Corey Seager.
So the Dodgers go back to the home that Corey Seager built, and Corey now works there. So it's a fun and exciting time to have a bit of a reunion there in Texas, and it doesn't hurt that. I mean, it hurts Dodger fans that Corey Seager is one of the best players in the game right now.
It does. And look, Corey Seager's been phenomenal this season, hitting 346, a 179 weighted runs created plus, 14 home runs. We've always known offensively he's been great. I mean, this is a guy that, as long as he's healthy, he's on the field, he's going to be one of the better offensive players in the sport. Yeah. That's why he got a $325 million deal. The Dodgers, they wanted Corey Seager. There's a big difference between Corey Seager and Trey Turner. Dodgers, they didn't want Trey Turner. The Dodgers, they didn't negotiate for Trey Turner. Corey Seager, though, they offered him almost $300 million. That contract had a lot of deferred money, kind of like Mookie Betts' deal. But you know what? To get $325 million in Texas, you'd have to offer like $600 million with the Dodgers to get him to consider that deal. To me, look, it's like your high school sweetheart. You had a great relationship, and you just kind of move both ways. You're still happy for him. You're glad they're thriving. But it just was never going to happen with Corey Seager and the Dodgers, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I've said it on this show a few times in recent weeks, and over time, I think fans, I think we will all, I know I will look back on him walking and them letting him walk. I'll look back on it with the same pain and disdain that I felt in 2005 when I saw Adrian Beltre suiting up for the Seattle Mariners. Granted, Corey did a lot more in his time for the Dodgers than Belly, the original Belly, had done at that time. Or up to that point in his career, but he was also coming off a 48 home run season, 140 RBI,
OPS over 1,000. Should have won the MVP.
Should have been the MVP. But you got old Roydie Berry picking up his 7th or whatever the hell it was, 7th and final or whatever the number is. But you look back at that, you let a Hall of Famer walk. You go down the road 6, 7, 8 years, maybe Corey Seager's a Hall of Famer, and he's gonna be wearing that Rangers hat by that point.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a tough pill to swallow. I'm with you. I'm a guy who loved Adrian Beltre. He was my favorite player at one point. It stings the fact that he has a Hall of Fame career. He's a Ranger in the Hall of Fame. And Corey Seager is a guy you drafted. He's a guy that was developed, and he comes up, he wins Rookie of the Year, and he gets the Dodgers to the promised land. I'll never forget that he was the guy who could have hit in the postseason. He was the guy who was hitting just over 200. Then he goes off in the NLCS and the World Series without Corey Seager.
He found the switch for God mode. And,
absolutely, yeah. Turned to God mode for sure, 100%. And he got himself a big bag. I still think, though, when you look at the contract as a whole, that's a lot of years for a guy that's dealt injuries. That's a lot of years for a guy that most likely is going to slide over to third base.
And where's the problem in that?
There's no problem in that.
It's
and
like,
I think
that he had so much opportunity, or they had opportunity where it could have been, hey, after, and again, the reason the Dodgers have Freddie Freeman is because they did not sign Corey Seager. But I imagine a world where both are on the team and Corey's sliding over to first base after Freddie's contract as a 35-year-old Corey Seager, whatever I don't know, I don't know math. I'm not a math boy here, but Cal Ripken wasn't a shortstop for his entire career. He moved over and had a heck of a career as a third baseman at the end, tail end of it with the Orioles, and it wasn't going to be Corey at short for the rest of his life, but he wasn't going to be a major problem in 8 years.
And
and his bat will always play.
Exactly.
I don't care what people say. His bat will always play. Maybe he's never been a fast guy. Like, he's always profiled. His swing will not change from now to 8 years. I'm ready to eat my words on it, but I feel it.
Still has one of the best hit tools. If you look at all the projections, by the way, I will point out, I did a whole video before the season about the rules, and we talked about how Corey Seager was going to have the best year, as how far he was going to benefit from the new rules and the restriction on the shift, and he's been absolutely eating. If you look at hard contact, if you look at his barrel rates, this guy's one of the best in the league. Still has one of the best hit tools in the league, and also defensively, he's not half bad. He's around league average. So, yeah, that's not his fault. But I still think, look, it just felt like he wanted a new chapter. He wanted to start his own legacy in Texas. He wanted to go with that Rangers team. If the Dodgers offered him the equivalent money-wise, do the Dodgers really get their first big-time Scott Boras client in the modern era? I still have my doubts. I think the Dodgers were always thinking big picture. And look at what your consolation prize was. You get Freddie Freeman, who takes a backseat to no one. So
it's insane.
They're fine. It does hurt. It's always going to sting, especially watching him play in that stadium, in that ballpark where the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020.
I was going to say, I can understand why other team fan bases hate Dodgers and hate the Dodgers, hate Dodger fans, because your consolation prize was Freddie Freeman. Tough.
Exactly.
Noah, what you got for me before we get the hell out of here?
Stop me if you've heard this before. J-Dog Super Chat.
J-Dog. Save your money.
No, keep it all right, so J-Dog asked a very, very on-topic question. He said, "Do the Dodgers go after Corey for the fake champ comment?" So a little.
I was gonna bring that up. I don't think they are. I don't think they will, because look, it's not substantiated. It didn't come from him. Yeah. He doesn't want to do that. Leave him alone. He just wants to play baseball.
Yeah. Leave him alone.
Leave Corey alone.
Yeah, it is a good question, but
it's a fair question.
They're not gonna say anything.
I think there's a chance. I mean, if I was there, I'm not gonna lie, I would ask Dave Roberts that question in the pregame scrum. I really would.
You should go to Texas.
Should we? Too late?
Just get on the road.
Just drive right now. You'll make it.
Hey, do you think Seth Meyers fans like you and I will catch the crappy "leave him alone" guy?
Leave him alone. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I miss
writer's strike, man. Jeez.
Can they just fix that already? Jeez.
Yeah, jeez.
I honk every day.
Also, I will say, Doug did, before the year, Doug did promise that Corey Seager was going to have his best year. I'm not even joking. He did tell me that.
He
told me to draft him in fantasy. He did say that.
Didn't I tell you guys should go with Seager? I'm pretty sure I said
Doug said it too. Doug said it too.
Yeah,
we didn't end up getting him.
I feel like I like my opinion more, but I'm saying.
How's your fans team's going,
Doug
guys?
promised.
But
guys, the Dodgers are going to take on. Go ahead. We can go to center cam and let's get the hell out of here, guys. The Dodgers are taking on the Texas Rangers for 3 games starting on Friday. Who's starting in this series? You got Tony. You got Bobby Miller, and you got what's his face? Emmett Sheehan.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling about the series, real quick? What's the final? What's the final?
I mean, one of the better teams in the league. You got Tony, you got
Bobby, you can say the same about Baltimore. They took 2 or 3.
They took 2 or 3. This team's going to be locked in. They're going to be focused. They're familiar with that ballpark. I think it's going to be an electric crowd. Let's go Dodgers, take 2 out of 3.
It's 2 out of 3. That's a given. They will not sweep because one of the games is on Sunday. And there's a stupid
Sunday
thing where
scaries.
the Dodgers have not won a Sunday game since, what is it, May?
14th.
May 14th, the Dodgers have not won they've only won four Sunday games all season long.
That's insane.
That's insane. So the winning streaks do not pile up. So bank the L on Sunday unless they really want to prove me wrong, ? But guys, appreciate the hell out of you for giving Noah another reason to talk.
Yeah, one more super chat for the road.
Wow. Big test.
We got Rob T again. I'll be honest, I don't really know what he's trying to say, but he said Artie Moreno's mustache smells like and then like has like some dots and an ON in there. You guys can decide what it means. Probably smells bad. I mean, it smells bad.
I believe
a bad smelling mustache. I'm not getting the memo.
I believe his poop does stink, as they say.
I'm not getting the memo, but hey, we read all super chats, so thank you, Rob T.
I mean, most,
Not
Most,
touching
not all.
really,
Let's be careful. Not at all.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I
Thank you,
not
Rob
touched
T.
down. I had Angels fans in my DM saying, "Let him run his team like he wants to. If you want to run a baseball team, you buy one. He doesn't have to trade Ohtani."
What kind of Angels fans? You know,
They have those?
that was his family.
They make those?
That was
I
his
didn't know
family.
there are those
Nobody
in this world.
Nobody
HaloToday.com, by the way.
respects. Yeah, read all about it at halostoday.com, where it's 24 hours, Shohei a week or something like that. I don't know. Show me the Shohei. Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Show me. Clicked on DodgersNation.com to read all about your Los Angeles Dodgers up to and past the trade deadline. We have a lot of coverage because that is what we do for a living. Also, check out InsideTheDodgers.com, part of the Sports Illustrated network of beautiful websites, because why not throw in beautiful? Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are a podcast. We are on the iTunes. We're on all the spots. Your podcasts are available for free. So if you can't catch us live, go listen to us there. Doug has his interviews up there as well. What's the next one coming up? What do you got?
We got my man Casey Porter.
Casey
Go follow
Porter,
Dodgers_daily.
We're talking prospects, Dodgers prospects.
Lindsey Graham on the draft. Got 2 coming this weekend.
Lindsey Graham?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, that's a politician.
Yeah, I know that's his name too.
What's the other thing? Oh, yeah, YouTube. Find us on YouTube, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. If you're here, please leave a like on the videos. If you made it this far, put something in the comments. What should they say? They put Noah Smells in the comments so I know you watched all the way to the end. And subscribe. That really does mean a whole lot to us. If you hit the bell, we don't have to remind you on social media that the show has happened because it'll just pop up in your screen. But we are coming at you live every Monday and Thursday. I'm assuming we'll be live on the trade deadline day, so keep an eye out for that. I'm RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Go follow NCamrus on Twitter, on Instagram. It is just
Noah
It is
Camrus,
Noah Camrus.
yeah.
That's right. I gave away his email. Guys, don't email him. We are Dodgers Nation on the Instagram, on the Twitter, on the threads, on the TikTok, in your hearts, at Dodgers Nation. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. Thank you so damn much for the super chats. We're just going to be counting up all that money, and we have to buy Doug new shoes. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you on
Sketchers.
Monday. Bye.